Here we go.
Hey, are we live?
We are
Hot
live.
diggity dog. So where are we? Oh, we're in Wenatchee. Guess where we're at? Wenatchee Insurance.
Yes.
Look, that's Matt. I'm Susie.
And we're Suzilla, and we are talking about social media and the TikTok ban.
Oh my gosh, that's such a big thing right. Well, I don't know. Okay, it's a big thing politically. And for the people who use TikTok as their primary conversation platform, because there's a lot of people who are making decent money on TikTok.
Social. There has been. Okay,
let's back up a step.
All right, let's back up a step.
Tell people what's going on.
HR 7521,
right?
Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act.
Oh, adversary controlled. So if it was Belgium, it would be less of an issue.
Was passed 352 to 65.
Okay,
it's targeting the parent company ByteDance, which is owned in China, to sell within 180 days or be forcibly removed from the app stores.
Okay.
That's the whole nutshell.
That doesn't sound very free market.
It's not very free market. Both our local representatives voted to ban.
Okay, so we're
that's both Kim Schreier and Dan Newhouse.
Right. So it's very bipartisan.
It is very bipartisan.
Which is an interesting thing to be bipartisan about, but hey.
Well, it's one of those things. It's a very politically charged topic.
It really is.
Because it's, as you pointed out, it's anti-free market.
This behavior is, yes.
It's completely anti-free market. It's anti-freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech is always one of those weird ones when you're talking about social media, though.
Well, if you look at it, we're in a rural area, and I was reminded, a long time ago, of the farm lines.
Okay. Oh, okay. Like the party lines?
Well, what happened back in the day of my mother, when the telephones were just starting to roll out, they had farm lines where you could all pick up and chat on Saturday night using your landline.
Yeah, it was a party line is what they called it.
Yeah.
And if someone was calling, they would go through the switchboard, and the literally physical operator would ring your home with your specific ring. So the call was for you.
Yeah.
But everyone would ring. But yours would be like the beam beam or whatever. So, but that doesn't stop, Joan from down the road from picking up and listening to your conversation.
But you had these group conversations.
Exactly.
When we were young adults or / kids, we had bulletin boards. We had chat boards.
Mid-20s there.
Young adults.
Not kids, young adults. We were in our 20s. When the internet began, we had, the bulletin boards, the chat boards.
They're still out there.
They're still out there. They're out there. That's how, it started with the whole college thing. And because that's where a lot of the internet kind of started, was communicating in government and colleges.
Yeah, I kind of knew about dial-ins
a
little bit earlier, thanks to, pre-hackers.
Yeah. But either way, that's beside the point.
But
it's always been a method of communicating for people who are not right next to each other.
Yeah. And we've as humans, we've used technology to do it. A good example is, back in the beat poetry days, they used chat books. Chat books.
Chat books, yes.
Cheap books that you'd put together on a copy machine, because it's pre-Xerox in some cases.
So we're dealing with the blue and the ink.
Yeah, the blue ink. You remember the drum?
The drum. I can't remember what that's called. Mimeograph.
Yeah, and you'd put these, put them together. You'd sell them for a quarter, maybe $1 if you got really fancy. And you'd have ads, talking about, hey, send your money to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you'd get something.
And you would be in the bars doing open mic night, and they would be for sale there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could actually, and there was another way to do that, was people were doing the mail order.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of mail commerce. It drives commerce.
It does. Absolutely does. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever they call it these days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I just boomered bad.
Yeah.
They're all major financial drivers. They're big commerce sites. even though they mask themselves as social media. They may have started social media, but they have become major commerce drives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's an interesting quote. The biggest revolutionaries after the revolution is done will become the biggest conservatives.
Okay, that's an interesting tack. That's an interesting sense.
Basically, you get your foot in the door, you've opened up, you've arrived, and oh my gosh, you close the door. So no one else new can come in and take your spot.
And because you don't want, because you do not want somebody who has the same passion that you did stealing your thunder.
Yes, but is your thunder just still?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you may have. I don't know. I mean, you've gotten in there, you threw a revolution, you took over, and now you want to be chief in charge, and and you don't want something. You don't want someone like you doing what you did.
Yeah. You don't want to, someone that's passionate with new ideas to come in and improve the situation.
No, so you become more conservative to the tactic you're using.
Huh?
Yeah, and that's expected.
Yeah, but is it right?
I don't. Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, if you're not open to progress, you're going to go stale. And if you go stale, you're going to foster dissent in the next generations. You've got to keep vital. If you lock down and become super, no, this is the way it is, this is the way it's always been, this is the way it's always going to be, it's just going to cause a revolution.
Well, yeah, and it's very counterproductive when it comes to business.
No, absolutely.
Because business, even Oreo cookies have got different layers and stripes and techniques. Layers.
But yes, and people still have a tendency to go back to the original. Because the original was the original. That being said, the original is still a quality product, but they do like to freshen things up a little bit. And they've got, like the double stuff, which is basically a fat version of the same cookie. But it's also not the carrot cake Oreo, which exists, by the way. But that keeps the market fresh. It makes people thinking, oh, Oreo. And then even if they just buy the fancy Oreo once, they may go, Oreo, and go get, I want a regular Oreo. I want a classic Oreo. And they'll go buy Oreos.
Yeah, and at the same time, they haven't said, hey, I'm Oreo. There's no Hydrox.
That's true. They have not shut down the market on competitors, on Hydrox. Actually, do they still make Hydrox?
I believe Hydrox is still
out there. I don't know if they still make Hydrox, but there's still non-Oreo cream-filled sandwich cookies out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're fine, but they're not Oreos.
They're not Oreos.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that are out there that, there is no stuffed Oreos. Think about it. There's you got double stuffed, you've got different types of fillings, but you do not have just the outside edge of an Oreo.
Are you sure? What are those Oreos thins?
I've never seen one.
Well, I mean, there are chocolate wafer cookies out there. I bought them for recipes mostly. Now you can make me look, aren't you?
So yeah, it's a matter of having competition in the place in the free market,
and the competition in the free market is it energizes, it vitalizes the whole market. All of it, not just that particular cookie. But I mean, the competition is good for a democratic free market society.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
Now, I've got as I put it, I've got a small space on TikTok. I don't even have 1,000 followers. I make the world's boringest videos. There's none of me dancing on there.
Okay.
I use it as an information platform. To get, to talk about insurance and the different aspects of it out there. Because I know that not all of my demographic are over the age of 35.
No.
I'm well beyond that.
Yes, you are.
And I know that there are other individuals that are well beyond that on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
However, there are, I think it's like 143 million Americans on TikTok.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
That is a ton of people.
And those people, I mean, that are watching TikTok or using TikTok?
That are on TikTok.
Okay, that have TikTok accounts.
Mhm.
That's a lot of people communicating with everybody else because it's actually a pretty easy platform to use.
Yeah, it's a very,
and that's part of it.
It is. I know that I've just down the street we got a one of the super users, Moxie Rose.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, she's done a great job in education in working with was for the love of it.
Yep, that's the name of the store she works for.
And getting that small business information out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And becoming a resource for not only just our community, but
nationwide. Worldwide, actually, at this point. I was watching, was it That Midwestern Mom? She had a blurb this morning talking about how if it wasn't for TikTok, she wouldn't have met so many different people. She got CNN called her and said, "Hey, we want to talk to you about this."
Well, yeah, she's amazing.
She's hot.
Well, yeah, with her hot dishes.
Well, yes, hot with her hot dishes, but she's also very well spoken. She's a really perfect example of someone who's taken this platform and flown with it. Recently divorced, trying to figure out what to do with her world, and stumbled into something that's working really. She's a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she just kind of took that and ran with it. But she was talking about how she met people like V from Under the Desk News and that Midwest and the North Omaha cat lady, crazy cat lady. You know,
actually, I don't know that one.
Your Omaha. Oh, okay, the Omaha crazy. I can't think of her. Okay, I can't think of her name. If you saw her, you'd recognize her.
Okay.
And other people who are super users on social media, Facebook, short form stuff. And those people connected her with, they're using her as kind of the spokesperson because she's, I don't know, she just is really relatable, I guess. And so she's the mainstream media, air quotes, is picking up on her for interviews and things like that.
Okay. She's in that mid-century Americana.
Right.
With the whole, hey, here's a casserole. It's
and even her look and even her voice.
Even her voice. And it's just something that plugs into that Americana car trips.
She's very relatable.
And
everyone knows somebody like her.
So
if they are not her,
the older generation.
Oh yeah. It's a grandma thing. Well, for me, it's my mother was from Illinois, but my grandmother was from North Dakota. You know, so that Midwestern mom kind of talk with the hot dishes for everybody. That's a thing. Yeah. So I totally connect with this. A lot of people totally connect with this.
I think Gen X and up do.
Yeah.
I don't think millennials down.
Really?
I think it'd be hard pressed because of and I'm saying this and being honest is because of like the potluck culture is kind of a dying breed.
COVID did a lot of damage to potlucks.
It was even on the outs on the way in.
It was, yeah. Mostly because people get really competitive about it.
I think it's because of people don't get competitive enough. They don't have enough time. They're able to dedicate.
Oh, so they end up buying that box of cookies.
And so they bring the bag of chips.
Yeah, and that's all you have. You don't have the let's put together something awesome for this potluck. You get we'll just buy some vegetables at the store. You get the effort being put forth is, you're right, it's petering out because nobody, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Look at it this way. And this is a really solid example. It's a very personal example. After your father died.
Yes.
And your family got together.
Yes.
there were different themes, and we'd bring over different dishes, and that lasted for a good 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And we would research, look through books, and find something amazing.
Mm.
To the point where we were kind of looked at by the rest of the family as this weird, snooty gourmet group.
Yeah.
Just because we were trying things. And we were
Yeah.
verbally, but eventually those broke down because no one wanted to do that.
Well, I think
even though we were having fun.
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of reasons why those.
There's a lot of different dynamics.
A lot of reasons why those families.
That's a really good example of where we were, because we were young parents.
Yeah.
And we.
Well, parents of a youngling. We weren't young. We were older parents. But I think the last.
Freshly minted parents.
Freshly minted. There we go. I think the last real genuine potluck I remember was the Democrats' picnic.
What, 2018?
Probably, yeah. Before, as the first pre-COVID.
That'd be 2019.
Yeah, 2018, 2019. Yeah. Was the Democrat picnic where it was a legit potluck.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the last one we went to. And I think I brought taco salad because everyone likes taco salad. I used the big green bowl.
You sure? I don't think you've ever brought taco
salad.
salad.
I did take taco salad to a potluck, but it might not have been that one. I don't know. Either way. Mm-hmm. But those are actually surprising. But there was the older folks who were attending were bringing home cooked dishes. Mm-hmm. The younger folks were bringing purchased stuff. It could be. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about whether the millennials and the alpha generation, the next steps below our generation, the Gen X's, actually ever learned how to cook. There's been a lot of conversation about. Actually, there's some conversation about whether can Gen X cook. It's like, well, that's a good question, because we were raised with TV dinners in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah, we were raised with kind of a very.
We were feral.
Feral.
We were feral. We were raised with here's your Kraft macaroni and cheese. Go to town.
Yeah, you'd get you'd look at see what's in the fridge, what's in the cabinets. Let's see if I can combine it to make it tasty.
That's right.
And that's why cooking shows have started.
Yeah, exactly. Now, to be fair, my mother did teach me how to cook, and I did learn a lot from cooking shows. My proper knife skills came from cooking shows.
Well, one of the most interesting things that we did was probably the Camp Cook bulletin board.
Yeah, that was actually really interesting.
And this, because it relies on static posts and sharing, and you could comment on it. It's a very blog type format, kind of a group blog for today's context. That was 15 years ago or so.
Somewhere in that zone.
It's still out there.
Is it?
It is. But we would take pictures and share recipes, and there was a couple guys that did the YouTube thing. A couple, one of the folks, he was a camp chef representative, and yeah, he did was cooking events for Camp Chef, and he did like the Super Sports Warehouse.
Oh, okay.
He did a couple
like a Sportsman's Warehouse kind of thing.
Sportsman's, not Sportsman's. It was like a Cabela's,
like a Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops.
He was at the demonstration level at Cabela's.
Okay, and he would be, and mostly the Camp Chef has a lot of cast iron and outdoor camp cooking kind of stuff. Good quality products. They've got some great pieces out there.
But that arose from that social media format.
Yeah.
It's having that dialogue and is very important and very conductive towards business.
It is.
And it always has been there.
Yeah.
And I feel that some are either losing the sight because they might be a little bit older, a little more conservative, in the fact that this is TikTok does put a lot of money into small businesses across the United States.
So the question is, what triggered this was the ownership of the platform by a Chinese company. And there's a lot of fear about the Chinese politicians taking information from, or the Chinese government taking information from American users and using it for evil. It's fear-based is what a lot of this is coming from. Politically fear-based.
Yeah, it's a red scare.
It is.
And I'll say that with all honesty, because we've seen undue influence on elections from Instagram, from Facebook, from Twitter.
Every there's always been undue influence.
I'm not going to say there's always. That's a really horrible way to look at it.
I am tracking all the way back to some of the yellow journalism.
Hearst was an American who, did get us into wars.
Yeah. And he was, there was influences from, European nations in newspaper articles and radio stuff, going way back. There's always been, we are not.
Well, look at Rupert Murdoch and Fox News.
There you go.
That is a one-direction communication that has impacted millions of Americans. Sinclair Media, that's a conglomeration. It's owned in America, and it tightened down what was communicated on the local news channels.
Yes. The concern with this bill is that they are adversarially owned, that we are not allies with China, so they're going to take our information and use it for nefarious purposes. Unlike if it was a Belgian-owned company, which we are allies with, it wouldn't be an issue. At least that's the inference. Implication? That's what they're saying.
It's as if they're ignoring the fact that information
is already out there.
It's already out there.
Yeah,
there's
nothing. This is not new. This the grabbing and using of information on the internet has been going since day one, maybe day two.
Big data is a very viable thing, and to just target one platform that's youth orientated is kind of ignores the fact of, hey, this is a way that we can figure out how the youth is communicating and what messages they're communicating.
Yeah, exactly.
And
necking it down.
Our person was concerned over the disproportionate messaging concerning Palestine.
Okay. So basically what you've got is we don't like the bias we're seeing, so we're going to shut it down.
Yeah. And that's, mind you, they are in the House of Representatives. They might have access to data that we don't have.
Maybe.
The youth, because we have a youth in our house.
Yes, we do.
We do ask them questions. He was very concerned over the treatment of Palestine. Because there's a certain point where you just look at just the body count and it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Really early, I went on and looked at it and said, ceasefire is really good. Yeah, because people are dying.
Yeah, unnecessarily. That's the problem with religious wars.
Well, it's not. I'm not going to view it as a religious war.
Okay.
It's two government bodies going at each other
and taking everybody with them.
And one side is very overarmed and very well supplied, and the other is basically being cratered.
Yeah. ceasefire would be a good thing.
Yeah, ceasefire would be an awesome thing to stop that loss of life and
Yeah.
figure out what the heck's going on, and get some people to the table talking to each other.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing.
Because that's what it's all about. Is that communication?
It's always about communication. When you shut down communication lines, people, they'll find new ways to communicate. Let's be honest. If this particular platform is shut down, if TikTok is shut down, we know there's at least 3 others waiting in the wings to launch immediately.
The hard thing about that is the distribution.
Oh, it's absolutely that doesn't mean it's going to happen immediately, but there's a lot of people,
because we've had a bunch of different platforms that have launched after kind of the semi demise of Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Blue Sky and
Mastodon.
Oh, I hadn't heard about Mastodon.
Threads.
Yeah, Threads is. I'm using Threads a little bit. That's a Meta product, I believe.
Yeah, it's a Facebook. Let's boom it. Let's call it as it is. That's someone getting in there and closing the door.
Mm-hmm.
They have a platform where they've really capitalized on it. Their stocks are going down. So yeah, heading the competition off of the pass, very good for their business.
Absolutely, it's pretty mercenary.
Having competition out there only leads to stronger companies.
It's true. That's absolutely true.
That's one of the things that we have always advocated about. It's like, hey, cool. If you got someone that you can communicate better with, go see them.
There you go.
And that's really important is look around who's advocating for that free market, that communication, who's saying, hey, private data should be kept private. And
what are they doing to help keep that happening?
A good example of that is the medical data concerning reproductive care or gender affirming care. There are folks out there that data is out there and it's being shared willy-nilly. There's others that are putting in lawsuits to stop the sharing of it. If it's really about protecting the citizens and the data,
let's protect everybody, shall we?
Let's protect everyone. Let's stop that. I mean, there was some amazing information being shared when it came to, oh my gosh, who's going to a Planned Parenthood clinic?
Oh yeah. That's it's kind of frightening, actually.
And so yeah, you've got social platforms that are sharing that information at a cost that are American owned.
So yeah, just because we're American doesn't mean we're blameless.
Oh no,
not by long shot.
Not at all.
No. Think about how much data we're mining from Chinese users of Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, that's yeah. That's
well, it's not we.
Let's go.
Let's get rid of that myth right now.
Okay,
the companies.
The companies. It's not even the government. It's the companies, and they're data mining, and they always will, and that's not going to stop because there's money to be involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's been more than one time where someone's had their hands slapped from a government entity going and asking a private company for certain information.
Exactly. And was it Apple is notorious for saying nope. Yeah.
And there's been some back doors on that.
Yeah, there have been.
So yeah, if it's a data privacy issue, make it truly a data privacy issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't just pinpoint one thing because it annoys you.
If you want to support small businesses, then this is the time you want to support small businesses.
TikTok's not a small business, but that's not what you're saying.
I'm not saying TikTok. It's the end users that are utilizing.
Oh, they're using to make a living.
To make a living, to increase their distribution chain of their goods and services.
There you go.
It's used by an amazing amount of small businesses. We, as limited and as gross as our small little presence on TikTok is, for Matt and Susie, I've still managed to sell a couple policies off of it.
That's right. So it does work.
Because people have found me.
Yep.
And like I said, boring as watching the paint dry.
Yeah, he's not the most exciting on
It's-
TikTok. I'm a little more dynamic than you are.
Yes. And at the same time, I'm presenting stuff that is just, it's
It's
paint drying.
well, there. It's insurance. It's not exciting.
It's
That's what you're saying.
insurance.
It's not that you're not exciting. It's that insurance isn't exciting.
It's not. But yeah, I'm not doing a crazy dance.
No.
I'm
I would pay to see you a crazy. I've got $1. You can do it. I will film you to do a crazy dance.
Crazy dance.
Yeah, put it on TikTok.
Okay. So,
Either way, the answer is yes. You can buy unstuffed Oreos. You can buy them in bulk off of Amazon.
oh, well, they look like chalk or something.
No, they are actually Oreo branded cookies.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the answer to that question.
So this does not necessarily mean that there's going to be a ban on TikTok.
No.
It means that it goes to the Senate. And this is the point where everyone's going to call their senator and say, hey,
Knock it off or support it.
knock it off. This is where we communicate. This is the grapevine.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
This is the back fence where neighbors talk to each other.
There you go. That's a great analogy. I love that.
And anyone who's been in business longer than 2 minutes understands the importance of a grapevine.
Yep. Because word of mouth is king still.
And if the ban moves forward, 180 days to diversify. Anyone who they sell it to is gonna have problems because it's going to be another media company.
Yep.
And that instantly will bring the FTC down. So that
it's
creates
just going
that
to get
problem
super
there.
complex.
So yeah, we should really look at it, and it's like, okay, yeah, cool. If you want to do the protect private media, go for it. I'll introduce you to the Medical Information Bureau that's been around for 100 years.
Mm-hmm, there you go.
So hey, have a great day.
Talk to you next week. We'll be here at on Suzilla at Wenatchee Insurance here in lovely Wenatchee, Washington. Come see us if you have questions about your insurance.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.